Hi guys, my name is Inna, welcome to the channel. So today we're gonna react to a very special video called Why is Rammstein so controversial? So I recently discovered the band Rammstein on my music reaction channel where I reacted to a couple of their songs. So I'm still pretty new to them. I have listened, for example, to Du hast, Mein Herz brennt, Engel. So like I think that I reacted to the main popular songs, but there's definitely so much more to discover about this band, and I'm very excited to look into this video because I am sure that I will learn so much about them. Before we start, make sure that you hit the like button and you subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and if you want, you can also check me out on Twitch where I stream and where we have a very nice lovely community. I will leave the link in the description down below. And now let's start.
The shows are awesome.
Really good.
Cool song, I almost shed a tear.
It fits the times.
The wings!
The German band Rammstein is a total work of art. Since 1995, the band has been stirring up emotions while becoming ever more popular. But what is behind the showmanship? A stage show reminiscent of a Nazi night rally. Rammstein love being controversial. They've sold more than 22 million records worldwide with, get this, songs in German.
Yeah, let me comment right away. This surprised me so much because, like, you would think that a German band is popular within their own country where people can understand the language, but it seems like they're famous everywhere in the world. Like, wow. I see why, like, they're very good, but I want to know how did they become so popular everywhere in the world.
Virtuoso stage productions, skillful play with the contradictions of German history, or are they really right-wing? From the start, they faced serious allegations. Here's why all the accusations are groundless. Come with us on a Rammstein journey to find out what makes the band tick. Along the way, we'll visit 4 iconic Rammstein locations and meet people who can help us to answer our questions about the most German band ever. We will show you how soft the hardest German rockers really are. And we find out all about their roots in communist East Germany. First up, they're named after a horrific catastrophe that claimed the lives of 70 people.
I didn't know.
On the cover of their first album, critics said the band posed like Herrenmenschen, representatives of the master race. Then there's the way the singer rolls his R's, reminiscent for some of Nazi demagogues. In the very martial live shows. Doesn't this remind you a little bit of a night rally? Then there's the controversial use of footage from Hitler's favourite filmmaker Leni Riefenstahl's infamous film of the 1936 Berlin Olympics in the video for Rammstein's cover of the Depeche Mode hit Stripped. And one more scandal. Band members dressed as Jewish concentration camp prisoners in the video for Deutschland. Germany's anti-Semitism commissioner said Rammstein had gone too far. So is Rammstein really right-wing? Well, not so fast. That's the case for the prosecution. It's true that from the beginning, the band shocked and provoked, with songs about sadomasochism and even cannibalism. But even the boys from Rammstein deserve a fair trial. In order to fully understand Rammstein, you have to go back to their roots, back to the 1980s. Germany is divided. In capitalist West Germany, Nicole wanted a little peace. 1988, in communist East Germany, the fun punk band Feeling B is formed. The band eventually featured 3 members who would later form half of Rammstein. Guitarist Paul Landers, Christian Flaker Lawrence, later drummer Christoph Schneider. Landers and Flaker were first introduced to an unsuspecting world in the 1988 East German rock scene documentary Flüstern und Schreien, Whisper and Shout. We met up with the film's director, Dieter Schurmann, on a nostalgic trip back to Hohenfieschen, where one of the Feeling B gigs he documented took place.
Also hier ungefähr.
Around here, this is where it was. The stage was where this white building is now. The back towards the road. And over here was the audience. You have to realize that back in the communist East, everything that happened in the cities was closely monitored by the authorities.
Makes sense, yeah.
So it was typical of that time that alternative music flourished in the provinces.
That's him, that's the same one?
Falk Schettler stood in as Feeling B drummer on the tour. He now runs the Strandperle restaurant in nearby Schwerin.
Completely different.
The telephone rang and it was Feeling B singer Alyosha, and he said, "Have you got time? We're playing in Wismar tomorrow. We need a drummer." I said, "I don't know the songs." "No problem, Paul will go through it. A half-hour rehearsal and then you'll be able to do it."
Üben wir kurz und dann kannst du das.
Jetzt fahren wir nach Schwerin.
We're going to Schwerin, and we'll pick up our new drummer. Falk, right?
Und dann, bis dahin war das immer, wenn ich Feeling B gesehen habe.
At that time, I'd seen Feeling B playing a few times, and I thought their show was so great. The show Paul Landers put on. I realized it was all for the benefit of many different drummers who filled in, so they would know what to play. Paul would move in a certain way. A funny scene which is often brought up is the concert on the beach. There's a banner blowing in the wind with Feeling B written on it, and a bunch of punks pogoing. And I was sitting in a wicker beach chair.
Da sitze ich im Strandkorb.
It was funny to drum like that. These gigs were basically art happenings. We just turn up at a camping site or on the beach in a truck. The doors would fly open. We weren't even announced. It was like a raid, an art attack. Here comes the band.
The locals helped Schurmann track down the blacksmith's workshop that was the location for an experimental improvisation in his film more than 30 years ago.
Alyosha and Paul Landers from Feeling B, now of Rammstein, they banged out the rhythm here. And I'd say that this was later incorporated into Rammstein's music. So this blacksmith here is really one of the original places where Rammstein was forged.
Rammstein singer Till Lindemann started out as drummer in the band First Arsch in nearby Schwerin. Falk Schettler witnessed one of the band's early concerts.
Yes, it was here. The stage was here. I remember looking at the drum kit because they had asked me if I could be ready to jump in if Till Lindemann couldn't make it. I can't remember why they said he might not show, but that's why I remember that day so well. I was scared and excited. I didn't really know what their music was like. It was new to me. One of them said, "Just play anything." It was absurd. But the band turned up, and the drummer was punctual. Till could play, and I was so happy that I didn't have to get on stage.
Glücklich, dass ich nicht auf die Bühne musste.
Till Lindemann came from a broken home. His father, Werner Lindemann, was a renowned children's book author and poet in communist East Germany. A local school bears his father's name. For a while, Till lived with his father in the countryside. His father described the difficult relationship with his 19-year-old son in one of his books. It ends with a fight, after which Till leaves home. Nowadays, though, when not on tour, Lindemann spends a lot of time in the region where his sister and mother still live. I fish, I hunt, I stare at the lake. I sleep in the woods at night and listen. I listen to nature. For the locals, he's just another guy.
Oh, this is so wholesome. Like, he is so famous, but he's able to have a normal life. Like, the local community just sees him as a normal guy. That's like, I feel like it's so precious to so many celebrities that don't have this privilege.
For us, Till is a relatively normal person. The people know him here. Everyone has had something to do with him here. He knows a lot of people in the village, and he's actually a perfectly normal person, just like anybody else, and he's kept his feet on the ground.
I got to know Till when my tractor broke down. It just wouldn't move. So I went off through the village looking for someone who could lend me a battery to start the tractor. And then I bumped into Till at the station, and he came along and got me a battery. And we managed to get the tractor going again. That was my first encounter with Till.
Such a nice guy.
I'd say that Till is rooted in a very grounded and elemental feeling. And this does have something to do with this rural region here. He was a basket weaver for a time. He was always grappling with real tough physical things. And it's my belief that a softie from the city would never have made music like that.
Be that as it may, Lindemann met up with Landers and Flaka after a concert in Hohenfieschen. Lindemann plus Feeling B is 2/3 of Rammstein. There is still definitely something of the East German fun punk band discernible in Rammstein. Whistling, for example, performance art, a unique sense of humour, and concerts on the beach.
Concerts on the beach?
In Berlin, Feeling B had their headquarters in this building. We meet up with journalist Ulf Lüdecker, who wrote the best-selling German Rammstein biography, In the Beginning There Was Fire.
I'm standing here in front of the house of Aljoscha Rompe, which was the lead singer of Feeling B. He was living here in a squatted house, and 2 houses further on the street were living Paul Landers and Flaka Lorenz.
The building occupied by Landers and Christian Flaka Lorenz is empty. The name Lorenz is still on the bell. The rundown building is a relic of another era, in an area where gentrification has largely taken hold. But in the last years of communist East Germany, the neighbourhood was a hotbed of dissent.
It was a very special district of East Berlin because all these old working houses were abandoned. They were empty, lots of them were occupied by different persons, and they moved here in the time when the wall came, shortly before the wall came down. And that's where the punk music was lived by the people, which was something like a kind of resistance in opposition to the communist system.
This opposition boiled over in 1989.
Good evening. Once again in Eastern Europe, what was once inconceivable has become reality.
On the night the Berlin Wall fell, Feeling B had permission from the authorities to play in West Berlin. Landers and Flake were actually on stage when the news broke, completely unaware of the history unfolding outside.
They were on stage in that moment.
Iconic location 4. The former Pike Club. The short-lived rock venue, the Pike Club, was situated here in the alternative district, Kreuzberg, not far from the border crossing between East and West. The premises are now occupied by creative community Friends of Friends.
I think the stage was here somewhere, the bar there, and now it's an office.
During the concert happened that more and more friends from East Berlin were coming into the room, and after the concert was over they heard that the wall came down. And this was...
I just love that they were doing what they love when such an important thing happened, when the wall fell out, and they discovered about it only after the concert. I don't know, this makes me smile for some reason. It
was an extremely important moment for Rammstein, because without the fall of the Berlin Wall, there would have been no Rammstein.
Gary Schultz works here as head of events. In the early 90s, he played bass in the band Fleischmann, who supported Feeling B on tours in East Germany. He says the bands were often attacked by right-wing youths.
We did a couple of gigs in Cottbus, and these guys either were waiting for us outside, so it was a constant struggle with the security, or they attacked the bus. After a while, everyone got drunk, and then, of course, fights evolved. It was high tension, and we, a few gigs, we just found out after a couple of songs, okay, my God, 80% of these guys are Nazis.
In his Rammstein biography, Ulf Ludecker also came to the conclusion that the accusations against the band were unfounded.
All of the musicians, they came from families that were all close, even close to the system. All of them, even those who weren't involved in politics, were raised, most of them, in left-wing households with left-wing parents. And punk, as a punk as well, obviously you belong to the left-wing scene and you fight against right-wing people about Nazis. There were clashes as well, and they have been beaten by right-wing persons, the punks, and not the other way around.
Is the band really named after that horrific airshow catastrophe?
Let's find out.
The case for the defense. An early song, Rammstein, was about the accident, and the band became known as that band with the Rammstein song. Then, the Rammstein Band. And finally, Rammstein.
I knew nothing about these, this accident that they just showed. I knew nothing.
The extra M was either a mistake or a diversionary tactic, allowing them to disclaim the connection. So yes, the band is named after the airshow disaster. But while this may be evidence of bad taste in a well-established metal tradition, is it evidence of right-wing leanings? Next up, that album cover. Some said the boys presented themselves as members of the master race. For guitarist Richard Krusper, however, the pic was more like an ad for a gay porno. The band was apparently freaked out by the cover art, but they had it changed before the album's US release. The band's live performances are highly choreographed. They do exploit the suggestive power of...
Let me just say that this is, when I first reacted to Du Hast, I was like, is this real fire on stage? Is this real firework? And you guys told me yes. Wow.
Are highly choreographed. They do exploit the suggestive power of mass events, maximizing the emotional impact of the music and the spectacle. Rammstein fans say their live shows are irresistible.
So,
Du hast mich.
They're totally intense, they're crazy, out of control.
I'm learning German for them. I just finished my first year, but wow, they're the best.
The Nazis were pioneers and masters of the art of persuasion, of propaganda and mass communication. But the techniques they developed are today commonplace in advertising. Every major rock gig with a light show owes a little to the night rallies. OK, Leni Riefenstahl's film was co-commissioned by the Reich Ministry of Public Enlightenment and Propaganda, a Nazi government agency dedicated to enforcing Nazi ideology. Nonetheless, there is a big debate about the artistic merits of the film. It was included in a BBC list of the 100 greatest films directed by women. Rammstein have defended its use, arguing that good art knows no political allegiances, and saying that the footage is an example of a visionary work of art.
I see why this part is definitely controversial. I see why.
Und ich spiele Paratischtennis.
Ironically, Rammstein's Ich Will became the official song of the German team at the Tokyo Paralympics in August 2021. But Rammstein members playing Holocaust victims in the Deutschland video? Well, those images were released as a teaser for the video. But when the full epic video came out, we saw Rammstein playing Teutonic Knights, Nazis, East German communists and more. Germania is played by a black actress. The song has been interpreted as critical of nationalism. The message is, Germany, I cannot love you because of all those terrible things in your past. Yes, let's add in a few things that suggest that they are more left-leaning than right. At a concert in Germany, Till Lindemann greeted his band colleagues' arrival on stage in a rubber dinghy by holding up a welcome sign. This was seen as the band backing a refugee's welcome message. At a concert in Poland, where LGBTQ rights were under attack, Christoph Schneider waved a rainbow flag. Schneider posted the pic on Instagram with the message, "Equal rights for all." I'm not quite done. There's also the 2001 song, Links 234 or Left 234, that says basically, well, we are lefties. Then there's the song against homophobia, Man gegen Man, Man against Man. And let's not forget the song against imperialism and colonialism called Ausländer. Okay.
That word, Ausländer, does it mean foreigners? I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong.
The case for the defence rests. But it's up to you, the jury, to decide on the evidence presented. Please give your verdict in the comments below. Rammstein's reputation rests with you. We hope you found our little video entertaining and informative.
Now, okay, I definitely learned more about Rammstein. There are so many things that I didn't know, but I still have so many doubts. I feel like in order to have the full picture, I should just like keep reacting to their music just to like really see their point of view, and then maybe go back to finding out something more about their history, how the band was created and everything. But yeah, like this was very, very interesting. And what do you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you like Rammstein? Do you like the way that they are controversial? Let me know. I'm really looking forward to reading your comments. And I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye bye!